The evening sun painted the sky with hues of gold and crimson. As the disciples gathered under the Bodhi tree, Buddha's serene presence radiated wisdom, his calm voice slicing through the ambient hum of nature surrounding his resting place. Suffering arises, he began softly, from attachments that bind the heart and distort one's perception of life's transient beauty. A cool breeze rustled the leaves, lending rhythm to his words. As the disciples leaned closer to capture his teachings, desire, like a flame, he continued, burns brightly but consumes the essence of peace, leaving behind ash and longing. Disciples exchanged glances, pondering the profound metaphor, while Buddha's gaze seemed to pierce the invisible knots in their minds. See attachments as chains, he explained, each link forged by ignorance, strengthened by craving, and rusted by suffering's weight. Ananda, eager and curious, raised his hand to ask, "Master, how can one sever these chains without effort?" Buddha's lips curled in a tender smile, and his voice softened, carrying the gentle wisdom born of awakening. "To sever chains," he responded, "requires not strength but clarity. Understanding illuminates the path as the sun dispels the darkness." A cricket's rhythmic chirp became an ambient underscore, as disciples' breaths quieted, absorbing the essence of Buddha's reply. Suffering is not an enemy to be vanquished, he taught, but a teacher revealing the fragile nature of existence. Disciples nodded, their silent reflection and affirmation of the luminous truths Buddha shared from his seat beneath the Bodhi tree. Like rivers, our minds flow, Buddha explained, but when desires create turbulence, the surface becomes restless, denying reflection. A young disciple, hesitant yet earnest, asked, "How can one calm the turbulent flow of desires within the mind?" Buddha plucked a leaf from the Bodhi tree, twirling it gently in his hand before offering his wisdom. "As this leaf dances freely in the wind," he said, "learn to let desires pass without grasping or resisting." The disciple's eyes followed the leaf, understanding dawning as he contemplated the nature of desires Buddha spoke about. "Peace arises," Buddha declared, "from accepting impermanence and observing life without attachment, craving, or judgment clouding one's vision." The group sat mesmerized, their gaze shifting between Buddha's expression and the gently shifting foliage above their heads. "Suffering's roots," Buddha continued, "dig deep into ignorance, and only wisdom has the strength to pull them from the soil." Ananda leaned closer, his curiosity unyielding, and asked, "Master, what is the nature of this wisdom you speak of?" "Wisdom," Buddha replied, "is born from mindful observation, where truth unveils itself and suffering's veil dissolves in its light." Night fell gradually, painting the sky with stars as Buddha's teachings etched themselves into the disciples' receptive minds. A distracted mind, Buddha explained, mistakes illusions for reality, clings to fleeting forms, and suffers from their inevitable departure. The disciples meditated on his words, their breaths synchronizing with the rhythmic rustle of the tree's steadfast leaves. "Awareness," Buddha said softly, "is the anchor that steadies the storm-tossed ship, guiding it safely to the shores of wisdom." Silence embraced the gathering as disciples closed their eyes to explore the depths of their inner river's currents. Buddha's words resonated within their hearts, echoing truths their minds had often overlooked in the ceaseless pursuits of samsara. "Let your mind," Buddha taught, "be a sanctuary, free from the echoes of suffering and the shadows of craving." The flame of Buddha's teachings illuminated their thoughts, burning away the dense fog that often clouded their understanding. "Suffering teaches us," Buddha explained, "to find the path of balance, beyond extremes, where peace resides within impermanence." Ananda whispered softly, "Master, does acceptance mean surrendering to suffering's inevitability without seeking release?" Buddha turned his gaze towards Ananda, his compassion evident, and answered gently, "Acceptance is not surrender but liberation through wisdom." Stars twinkled above, their distant light a celestial reminder of life's transient nature and interconnected beauty. Truth, Buddha continued, is uncovered when illusions dissolve, revealing existence not as fragmented but as harmoniously interconnected. Disciples joined in silent meditation, their breaths steadying as Buddha's teachings stirred their minds into deeper awareness. Impermanence, Buddha said, is the heart of existence. To resist it invites pain, but to embrace it brings peace. A lone owl hooted from the distance, its voice blending with the wisdom Buddha unveiled to his disciples. Desires, Buddha instructed, arise naturally, but do not define your essence. Observe them as clouds passing across the vast sky. The moon ascended slowly, casting silver light upon the disciples and their teacher as the night deepened its quiet embrace. Each step on the path, Buddha taught, must be taken mindfully. As intention shapes the direction, peace becomes attainable. The disciples nodded, their understanding ripening like fruit nourished by sunlight and rooted deeply in fertile soil. Freedom, Buddha said, is not found externally but cultivated within. When suffering's grip is replaced by wisdom's light, the group dispersed slowly, each carrying Buddha's words as seeds to plant in the gardens of their minds. Beneath the Bodhi tree, Buddha remained seated, his presence a testament to the timeless teachings of awakened truth. Another day, another journey began, with Buddha and his disciples walking through a dense forest bathed in the light of dawn. The crisp air carried whispers of distant birdsong, and the fragrance of blooming flowers lingered in the morning's tranquil embrace. A villager approached, his face lined with sorrow, clutching a small bundle close to his chest as tears streamed silently. "My lord," he said, voice trembling, "my heart is heavy with grief. My daughter has passed, leaving only emptiness behind." Buddha's gaze met the man's, full of compassion, as he gestured for him to sit and share his pain. The disciples watched intently, sensing the profound wisdom that Buddha would soon impart to soothe the villager's aching soul. Grief, Buddha said gently, is a storm that arises from attachment, shaking the foundation of peace within the heart. The villager wiped his tears, seeking solace in the presence of Buddha's calming voice and unwavering compassion. Loss, Buddha continued, teaches us that impermanence is the essence of existence, a truth often veiled by illusion. The villager questioned, "Master, how can I bear this unbearable sorrow and move forward without my precious daughter?" Buddha plucked a flower from nearby, holding it delicately as his gaze softened, revealing the wisdom behind his calm demeanor. "This flower blooms beautifully," Buddha said, "but its life is brief, and its petals will soon return to the earth." The villager stared at the flower, its fragile beauty echoing the fleeting nature of his daughter's existence on earth. "Cherish the moments shared," Buddha advised, "for the essence of love remains eternal, even as forms dissolve into impermanence." The disciples listened closely, their hearts open to Buddha's teaching, woven into the fabric of shared human sorrow. "Compassion arises," Buddha explained, "when we recognize the interconnectedness of all life, embracing shared suffering as a source of strength." The villager nodded slowly, understanding the depth of Buddha's wisdom and feeling his grief transform into acceptance. In grief, Buddha taught, lies the seed of compassion, and through compassion, the burden of sorrow becomes easier to carry. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves above, its cool touch soothing the heaviness that hung in the villager's heart. "Grief unites us all," Buddha said, "for impermanence spares no one, weaving a tapestry of loss, love, and transformation." The villager expressed gratitude, his trembling voice now steady, as Buddha's words began to lift the weight of despair. "Let love guide you," Buddha encouraged. to honor those who've passed by embodying the values they lived and cherished. The disciples reflected deeply, their meditation revealing the universal truth Buddha shared through the villagers' sorrow. Buddha's teachings flowed like a river, carrying wisdom that nourished the hearts and minds of those gathered around him. Impermanence, Buddha said, is not cruelty but a reminder to value every moment, to live mindfully and with intent. The villagers surrounding Buddha listened intently, their shared grief forging bonds strengthened by the teachings of interconnectedness and compassion. Acceptance, Buddha explained, is the path to liberation, where resistance fades and suffering no longer holds sway over the soul. The rising sun cast golden light upon the disciples and the villager, its radiance symbolizing renewal and hope in transformation. Compassion, Buddha said, emerges naturally from the realization that no one walks this path of impermanence alone. The villager rose, his spirit lighter, and bowed deeply before Buddha, expressing gratitude for wisdom that eased his suffering. May your love, Buddha offered, shine brightly, for it carries the legacy of those we hold dear in our hearts. The disciples watched the villager depart, his steps steady, and his grief tempered by the timeless truths Buddha revealed. A heart filled with compassion, Buddha taught, is a lamp illuminating the darkness, transforming pain into wisdom and peace. The forest echoed with his teachings, the rustling leaves whispering timeless truths carried by the winds of impermanence. Buddha's voice, calm and steady, resonated with compassion as the disciples meditated on his profound words beneath the forest's canopy. In every loss, Buddha explained, there exists an opportunity to deepen compassion, to connect more fully with the essence of life. The disciples pondered deeply, their reflections harmonizing with Buddha's wisdom. As the forest embraced their quiet meditative state, love transcends, Buddha said, the boundaries of time and form, remaining eternal even as life's impermanence unfolds its truth. The sun ascended higher, its golden rays filtering through the trees, enveloping Buddha and his disciples in its warm glow. Embrace impermanence, Buddha taught, as a source of liberation, for in change lies the opportunity to awaken deeper understanding. The disciples bowed their heads in silent reverence, absorbing the profound wisdom Buddha revealed through the essence of compassion. Buddha's teachings, delivered with gentleness and clarity, enriched the hearts of his disciples, fostering compassion and acceptance within their minds. Interconnectedness, Buddha declared, binds all life, for suffering shared is suffering lightened by the strength of collective compassion. The forest grew quieter, its symphony fading as Buddha's teachings settled within the disciples like seeds awaiting growth. In kindness, Buddha instructed, we find the strength to heal wounds, to bring light to the darkest corners of existence. The disciples meditated deeply, their breaths steady, as Buddha's words transformed their understanding of loss and impermanence. The sun reached its zenith, illuminating the forest's vibrant colors. As Buddha and his disciples rose to continue their journey, Buddha's presence remained a beacon of wisdom, guiding those around him toward peace found in impermanence and compassion. Another day, another gathering of disciples unfolded under the shade of a grand banyan tree as birds sang melodiously. The atmosphere was serene, the sunlight filtering through branches as disciples awaited Buddha's teachings with eagerness and reverence. A wandering ascetic approached, his robes tattered, his eyes searching for wisdom to quench the thirst of existential questions. Master, the ascetic began, bowing deeply, I seek the truth of existence. What lies beyond this ever-changing, transient world? Buddha's gaze softened, his presence radiating calm, as he gestured for the ascetic to sit and unburden his troubled mind. This transient world, Buddha spoke, is but a reflection of impermanence, a dance of arising and passing phenomena. The disciples leaned closer, their breaths steady, drawn into the profound depths of Buddha's words. Woven with compassionate wisdom, clinging, Buddha continued, to what is impermanent, creates suffering. Liberation lies in seeing truth without illusion clouding perception. The ascetic nodded, his expression a mix of curiosity and longing. As he hung on to Buddha's every word with intent, impermanence is not emptiness, Buddha explained, but fullness. For within change lies the potential for transformation and growth. The wind rustled the leaves gently, echoing the rhythmic cadence of Buddha's voice, which offered solace and understanding. Each moment, Buddha said, is like a wave upon the ocean, unique yet inseparable from the vastness it belongs to. The ascetic asked, Master, how does one live meaningfully when every form and experience is destined to dissolve? Buddha's smile conveyed a calm knowing, as he plucked a fruit from nearby, holding it delicately as he spoke. This fruit's sweetness, Buddha explained, is not diminished by its impermanence. Its transient nature makes its taste precious. The ascetic contemplated the fruit, its presence symbolizing life's fleeting beauty and the value found in its ephemerality. Live mindfully, Buddha instructed, with awareness of impermanence, for it inspires gratitude, compassion, and intention in every action. The disciples reflected on his teaching, their minds opening to the realization of impermanence as a source of liberation. Attachment, Buddha continued, binds the heart, but wisdom severs those ties, allowing one to experience life in its fullness. The ascetic questioned, Master, is liberation an escape from this world, or is it found within it? Liberation, Buddha replied, is not an escape, but an awakening to the truth woven into the fabric of existence. A serene hush settled over the group as they absorbed Buddha's words, their understanding deepening with every passing moment. In impermanence, Buddha said, lies the essence of peace. For nothing static can thrive in the flow of existence. The sun climbed higher, its rays casting patterns of light and shadow upon the ground where Buddha and his disciples sat. Wisdom, Buddha explained, arises from observing impermanence, understanding it not as loss but as the nature of all things. The ascetic's face relaxed, his burden of questions lightened by Buddha's clarity and the compassion that permeated his teachings. Freedom, Buddha said, is achieved when one ceases to cling to illusions, accepting impermanence as a guide toward peace. The disciples sat in meditative silence, their minds drawn inward, exploring the truths Buddha gently guided them to uncover. Observe life, Buddha instructed, as a river flows. Accept its currents and embrace its changes without resistance or fear. A solitary cloud drifted across the sky, its impermanence reflecting the transient beauty Buddha's words conveyed with timeless wisdom. By embracing impermanence, Buddha said, you let go of fear and discover the infinite potential of the present moment. The ascetic bowed deeply, his gratitude evident, as his understanding of life's transient nature began to transform his perspective. Compassion, Buddha reminded, is the fruit of understanding. For through it, the interconnectedness of all beings becomes evident. The disciples meditated on this truth, their breathing steady as Buddha's words planted seeds of wisdom within their minds. Interconnectedness, Buddha declared, reveals that each life, though impermanent, contributes to the vast, ever-changing tapestry of existence. The banyan tree's roots stretched deep into the earth, symbolizing the foundation of Buddha's teachings that nourished the disciples' hearts. In giving, Buddha taught, we transcend the illusion of separateness, realizing that compassion flows naturally from awakened understanding. The ascetic's journey, though marked by questions, found clarity in Buddha's teachings, which illuminated the path he sought to tread. Let awareness, Buddha said, guide you, for it is the key to unlocking peace in a world of impermanence. The group dissolved into a state of quiet contemplation, each disciple uncovering their own wisdom through the lens of Buddha's words. As the sun sets, Buddha said, "So shall it rise again." The cycles of impermanence bring renewal and endless possibility. The disciples and the ascetic bowed in unison, expressing reverence for the teachings Buddha shared under the banyan tree. "May your journey," Buddha offered, "be guided by compassion and wisdom, illuminating the path to peace within impermanence." The day continued, each moment cherished, as Buddha and his disciples carried the light of his teachings forward with grace. Walk as if every moment matters. A disciple hesitates, distracted by the bright colors of a stall displaying fruit, his mind drawn by curiosity and fleeting desire. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.